Hi everyone, and welcome to another video. Today we're going to learn how to make this really simple scarf, and it can be worn in a number of ways. You can make it long like this. I have got it at uneven lengths and I've wrapped it once around the neck. Or you can wrap it around your neck many times and have it for a shorter scarf. But you can make the scarf as long or as short as you like. And you can also choose any flower that you would like to use on your scarf. So I hope you enjoy this pattern, and let's get started on the lesson, guys. And Bob says hi too. Oh, jeez, Bob doesn't want to be on camera. Let's get started on the lesson, guys. So what we will need to do first of all is choose the flower that we want to use for this project. I've actually chosen a flower that isn't one of my patterns because I saw this on YouTube. It's by Amanda Kari. I will put the link in for you. And I thought that this flower was just so beautiful. It's got lots of ruffles, and you can make it any size you like. As you can see, it's quite big. It's about the size of the palm of my hand, but you can make it a lot smaller if you like to. I also have plenty more flower videos here, so check out that. Or if you've got a favourite one by someone else, Teresa or Beth or Mikey, go and make up that flower that's your favourite and then pop it aside. We also need to make this little tab, and I haven't finished mine off yet because I'm not quite sure how big we're going to need it. So do quite a few rows. This has got about 2 inches. We may need to pull some rows out. We may need to add a few on, but we're not going to know until we sew one of the sides of our tab to our flower. So depending if you've got a really thick scarf, obviously you're going to need quite a big tab to thread your scarf tails through. So my scarf is only very thin. It's probably about 2 inches wide. I just wanted a nice thin scarf, but I've made it really, really long. Let me just see how long I've made it. I've made mine about 2 meters long, so that I could wrap it around and around my neck. It wraps around about 3 or 4 times. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stitches across, but you can make yours as many as you like. So what we need to do is grabbing our yarn. We are going to make our slip knot. There are plenty of ways to make your slip knot. The easiest way I find is to loop the yarn over like so, grabbing the loop, grabbing your bit that's attached to your ball, holding both tails, and then pulling up and pulling up like that. Let's grab your hook, pulling on the bit that's attached to the ball. We're going to make a chain. And I had 8 stitches on my hook, on my scarf. So let's do 8 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. We're going to go into the 4th chain from the hook, so don't count the one that's on your hook. Let's just zoom in a bit so we can see a bit better. Don't count the one that's on your hook. This is number 1, 2, and 3. So going into the 4th one, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to wrap our yarn, go into the stitch, yarning over, pulling up a loop, yarning over, pulling through 2, and then yarning over, pulling through 2. We're going to repeat this all the way across. So we've just worked out of that one. We're going to go into the next chain stitch, and into the next one as well. So that's yarning over, pulling up a loop. You've got 3 on your hook, yarning over, pulling through 2, yarning over, pulling through 2. Repeat this all the way until we get to the end of our chain. If you want to make your scarf wider, of course you can add more chains. So now I'm going to learn something that I learnt from Beth in Texas 1. And if you haven't checked out her channel already, please go and have a look. Beth is a fabulous lady and has really great tutorials too. So instead of doing a chain 3, I learnt from Beth that we go into the stitch, yarning over, pulling up a loop, and then yarning over, pulling through 2. So we've completed a single crochet. Now we're going to go into the vertical bar that is on this side. So skipping that first one into the second one, we are going to complete another single crochet. That's our chain 2. We've done 2 single crochets. So to do a chain 3, this is instead of the chain 3, so to work it so it's like a chain 3, we do another one. And then we want to work a normal double crochet into every stitch across. And we're going to repeat this row until it's long enough, till you have your scarf long enough. And you can make it any length you like. Like I said, mine's 2 meters long. I wanted it really long so I could wrap it around my neck. Because it's quite thin, I can wrap it around my neck and get away with it. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches on the previous row. We have to make sure we have 6 stitches on the next row. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And our 6th stitch is actually here. So just at the top here, we're going to go into that stitch and we're going to try and pick up 2 loops. See how we've got 2 loops on our hook? We're going to complete our double crochet. We're going to turn our work around and we're going to work the single crochet again. So we're going into that first stitch, pulling up a loop, yarning over, pulling through 2. You're going to repeat that into that second vertical bar, not the first one. Here's the second one. And we're going to complete that again. So each single crochet counts as a chain, and normally you would chain up 3 to work a double crochet row. So into the next stitch we're just going to complete our double crochet, and we're going to repeat this row until we have the length that we need for our scarf. And that last stitch and that first stitch is what you need to concentrate on the most, because if you don't, your piece will get smaller or the sides won't be straight. So we need 6 stitches. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is number 6 here. So we're going to yarn over and we're going to go through 2 loops. We're going to go into the top of the stitch there, and we're going to make sure we have 2 loops on the top, and then we're going to complete our stitch. So keep going, and when we get to the end I will catch up with you and we'll carry on. So I'm just coming up to my last stitch here, and then we're going to finish off. So when we get to the end, what we're going to do is we're going to cut our yarn. I've already cut mine off. And we're going to do a chain, and we're going to pull through and pull it completely all the way out. And pull tight. And that has finished off our scarf, and then we're going to weave in our ends. So we're going to find our needle, and if your needle is like mine, it's grown legs and ran away. So you're going to thread your needle, and then we're going to weave in our ends. And I like to weave my ends into this part of the stitches here. So I'm just going to weave it down the side there, just loosely, And then what I'm going to do is pick up stitches. And you're just going to thread it all the way across. You want to thread in about 1 inch to 2 inches of your yarn. And then trimming it off. There we go. All done. Now you could attach a fringe to this if you like. I'm not going to, but I will show you how to do it. You're going to cut strips of yarn, and then you're going to grab each piece and grab your crochet hook, go into the stitch that's at the top, go under both loops if you can. You can just loop it over the hook, pull it through, and I'm just yarning over those 2 strands and then pulling through, and you just pull tight, and that's attaching your fringe to your scarf. And you just continue that same method all the way down. And now we need to make the tab. So make it exactly the same way that you made your scarf. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches on here, so it's not very wide. And depending, like I said, how wide you make your scarf and how bulky your yarn is as well will depend on how many rows. So I've guessed at about 2 inches, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows with a 4mm hook and 8-ply yarn. And what we want to do is, I can actually cut that off because I know I've sewn the ends in. I was just leaving it there in case I needed it. So I know I can cut that off and it's not going to unravel, which is always a bonus. And now this flower, the way I've sewn it together, hasn't really got a flat back. It's kind of got a little hole in the middle like that. So I'm going to try and just sort of fan it out a bit so that it can go flat. Doesn't matter if it curls back over, but just while we're sewing it, it's going to make life a lot easier for me. So I've got a little bit of yarn there, so I'm just going to cut off a bit more so I can sew this end on. Grabbing my needle. So what we're going to do, we're just going to sew this tab on. So just pop that aside. And getting the end of my tab, I'm just going to stitch that through there. I'm just going to tie it on with a knot, just so I know it's secure on there. And then I'll sew those ends in, but I'll do that at the end when you don't have to watch me do it, because I'm sure you know how to do that by now. So getting the back of your flower, you're just going to lay your tab, try and tuck those away there. You're going to lay your tab at the back here. There goes my scissors. So we're just going to lay that down there, and we're just going to stitch the tab on. So sorry about the same colour, it's going to be a bit hard to see, but you're just going to whip stitch. So it's going in from the back, going through the front of the tab, coming out through the front. So I'm just sewing through the flower at the back and through the tab at the front there. You're going to repeat this all the way across. I'll just keep the camera rolling because I've only got a little bit to do. Hopefully your tab is sewn down. There we go, it's sewn down. I'm going to sew those ends in after off camera, like I said. Just, I think one more stitch I can put in there. So now what we want to do is grabbing our scarf, I'm going to grab both ends of your scarf. So I've got both ends of my scarf, and then I'm just going to put them together, and I'm going to open out my tab. Let's see if I can show you this a bit better. There you go. So I've just opened my tab out onto the outside, and I'm going to thread or lay my scarf pieces, both my pieces, over the top. And this is going to be how we can see how big we want our tab. So depending on how bulky your scarf is, you're going to lay the tab over, and it wants to reach the other side of our flower, so it's basically the same where we sewed it on this side. We want to sew it onto that same part over here. Now if your tab is tight, that's good. I could probably take out one row here because it's not that tight. So that's why I didn't tie it off, because I wasn't sure if it was going to be tight or not enough. Because if it's not tight enough, what's going to happen is your flower's just going to fall down and fall off your scarf, and you might lose it, and we don't want to do that. So that's quite tight there. It still comes through, but it's quite tight to come through. So let's sew this on. Let's get rid of the scarf for a second. Oh, and because I've actually undone that, I can just use this to sew it on. So I'm just going to pull the end through the loop that we've got there from that last stitch. I just need to weave this end in. It is the day of everything disappearing. Here's my scissors. So what we're going to do is stitch this side to the other side, making sure, see how that's the petals are here, so I'm going to stitch it where the petals are there. You want to make it nice and even on both sides. So repeat what we just did, sewing this down, and then we'll come back. So there we go, we have our tab sewn on the back. And I just thought of something as I put that on my hand. If you made that tab a bit wider or longer, you now have a very cool bracelet with a big flower on it. But anyway, that's not what we're making here, but that's just an idea that you could use. So once you have all your ends sewn in like me, you are finished, and all that's left is to put on your beautiful scarf. So I'm just going to thread the ends through. And we are done. I think that is a really cute, quite a quick project. Great for using up not much yarn at all. Great for a beginner project too. If you've just learnt a few stitches, you don't need very many to complete that. Thank you for watching my video, I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, as there will be plenty more videos coming up. Join our Facebook page if you haven't already. We also have a Ravelry page which are both fantastic. Great support over there. Lots of photos being shared. If you don't have those pages, or you're not a member of those pages, it's completely free. Or you can email me a photo if you want to show me what you've made to the email address in the description box below the video. Like I said, thanks again guys for watching this, and until we meet again, happy crochet!